Today's video is sponsored by Black Gold Compost Company. I want to thank the good people over at Black Gold for the generous donation of all this beautiful black cow manure that we use in our video today, and it's made a tremendous success in our garden. I've been using black cow for many years, ever since 1980, and it's always made a tremendous difference in my garden, and I've been very pleased with our product. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Black Gold, for sponsoring our channel. Well, happy new day, friends. Today's video is going to be on growing elephant garlic. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, friends. Today's video is going to be on elephant garlic. It's a pretty good tasting. Since we moved down here to Florida, you know, we're dealing with some high temperatures and a lot of high humidity, and it's real hard for us to grow garlic down here. As a matter of fact, I don't think we stand a chance of growing hardneck garlic down here. We may have a slight chance for softneck garlic, but we'll do another video here shortly. I'll do one on growing softneck garlic in Florida just to see how see how we can do with it. But I'm not too optimistic, but I will give it a try. But anyway, one thing we can definitely grow in Florida is elephant garlic. And elephant garlic's really, actually, it's a variety of the leek family, and it gets quite large and it tastes pretty good. We grew it all the time up there in Virginia, and it tastes good. Nancy uses it in all kinds of things that she cooks, and she uses it the same way that you use any other garlic. But anyway, today we're going to be planting some out in the earth bed and sharing that with you. Maybe you would like to grow some of this beautiful elephant garlic for yourself. Now, you know, with the way things are lately, it's real hard to get a lot of our gardening supplies, such as seeds and plants and things. So it's I got this garlic at Hollis Tools. Hollis Tools. They're a pretty good little company. They make a lot of small hand tools for, you know, the little guys like us, you know. And they got a pretty good little couple of guys that work on the Hollis Tool videos. If you ever want to look at some gardening videos by Hollis Tools, go check them out. Hollis Tools, they're pretty nice guys. They're pretty knowledgeable. I especially like them since they're from Georgia. You know, all my family roots are from Georgia. So, you know, my daddy was born and raised on a farm in southwest Georgia all the way up until he went into the Army in World War II. So a lot of my growing techniques and all that was taught to me by my daddy when I was young, 8 years old on up. And as I was born and raised in Florida, but I learned all the techniques from my daddy, which is a good old Georgia boy. So anyway, we got the garlic. We got it from Hollis Tools, so we're ready to get this stuff separated and demonstrate how this stuff is planted. And I think you'll find that it's actually very easy to do, that anyone can do this. And I want anyone to do it. I think it's something that you might want to do. The first thing I do is I take all the garlic and I take it right on out the bag. And you want to take these. You see how big these things are. They're beautiful. This is a pretty good garlic that I got from Hollis Tools. You know, I'm pretty satisfied with what I'm getting from them. I ordered some from another company. I don't want to say the name of them, but you know, I got the garlic in and I said, I don't think I'm even going to plant that. It was puny and it didn't look so great, you know. So, but this right here is really nice looking garlic. So the first thing you want to do is you want to break these cloves up and pick out the biggest cloves you can get. So come on up here and let's take a close look at what I'm going to do here. As you can see, these garlic bulbs, they come in pretty good size. You simply break off each clove. and I pick out the biggest and most beautiful. They're all looking pretty good. You see, these are the ones I'm going to want to plant. And when I get over there, you'll look at it closely, you'll see there's a root end and there's a pointy end. The pointy end you want to be up in your trough over there, in your furrow. So you put the root end down, and we're going to plant these. So there's about 3 inches of soil, 3 inches of soil above the pointy end. So I'm going to be going down about 6 inches or so. Okay, so let's get all these broke up and separated, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, I got them all broke up, and I tell you, in the past when I've ordered this elephant garlic and I broke the cloves down to take a look at what I had to plant, I would pick out the big ones from the little ones, and I got 5 pounds here from Hollis Tools, and I didn't have any little ones. They're all big, not all just very nice. It was a good, solid 5 pounds of clove here for me to plant. As you can see, they're all big. So no throwbacks. So that's good. And if you do get some that's got some little small throwbacks in them that, you know, just ain't really up to snuff, go ahead and eat them. They're ready to eat. You can eat them just like they are. Or you can plant them in the spring and get you some spring garlic, which we use for stir fry. But anyway, we're ready to head over to the earth bed. I'm going to plant these in one of my perimeter boxes around my garden, and I'm going to amend my soil over there with some black cow manure. Now, I use that because the animal compost is ideal for these leeks, these elephant garlic. So I'm going to be putting in, amending the soil with black cow manure, and then I'm going to dig my trench in there, and I'm going to amend the bottom of the trench with bone meal as well as blood meal, and I'll incorporate that down into the bottom of the trench. And then I'm going to plant all these beautiful cloves and on about 8-inch centers with the pointy end pointing up. And once I have them into the bottom of the furrow, then I'm going to cover them over to where I have about 3 or 4 inches, 2 to 3 inches really above the top of the pointy end of this elephant garlic. So it's got plenty of growing space. And I'm gonna let these grow over the winter. This is October here in Florida, and I'm gonna let these grow throughout the winter. And by next July, these should be ready to harvest. And we'll watch this process on this video all the way through until next July, until we harvest these and cure them and store them up. So let's head on over to the earth garden and get started on the day's work. Meet you over there. Well, look what we done did. Got a 50-foot row of elephant garlic in the ground, off and running. So I'm gonna water it in. I'm keeping my soil moist, not saturated over the next few days ahead. Don't let this stuff dry out. And I've got it into the full sun. Not full sun today because it's overcast, but it's in the full sun. That's where it's the preferred way to grow it, is in full sun. So stick with us on the video. Don't click off. We're going to be watching the progression of this all the way out till next July, when we harvest it and cure it and put it up into the 4-week pantry for long-term storage. And maybe Nancy will even do you some cooking videos using it. I'm sure she will. But anyway, we'll be back in the days ahead. Look forward to seeing you soon. Well, good morning. Been 6 weeks since we planted our elephant garlic together, and as you can see, it's starting to make some progress. It's broken the ground, it's got some leaves coming up, so looks like we're gonna be all right. We've been through a whole bunch of hard weather on it, lots of high heat, and then Hurricane Ada, which was downgraded to a tropical storm as soon as it hit the west coast of Florida. But as soon as it hit the west coast, it went down to a tropical storm and ran directly over our homestead. So we were saturated with a lot of high winds and a lot of rain. So everything out here was really suffering. It's starting to dry out now, and also the temperatures are cooling off a little bit. So we're hopeful we're looking in the days ahead for this to kind of recover and make some good progress, because I want to get a hold of some of this elephant garlic, and I think we will. It's just going to take a little time to get over that storm. But anyway, we're off and running. I'll be back shortly. As soon as this gets some more progress on it and the temperatures cool down, we'll take a look at it through the winter up until next spring, when we finally get to harvest it in the summer. So we'll see you then. Well, welcome to spring, my friends. It sure was a cold winter. Down here in Florida, we had 5 freezes this year, which was, to us, is a severe winter, you know, and compared to the rest of the country, they laugh at that. You know, the country had a very hard winter, and a lot of folks suffered in a lot of areas. But, you know, for Florida, when we say we have 5 freezes, that's kind of a lot. You know, like last year, we only had 1 light frost, and the year before that, we didn't have any. But that cold weather was tough. It really took its toll. There was a lot of discoloring on the tips, and, you know, fading out in color. There was some yellowing, you know, and just some days just limp. Didn't feel like doing anything, you know. It was just terrible, terrible. But other than that, me and Nancy made it through the winter. As far as the elephant garlic go, they did great. You know, they didn't suffer. There was a couple of days there where we had some freezes on them, a little bit of dieback, not anything to worry about. They have really starting to bounce back now. Spring is here, to getting a little bit warmer weather, and they look fine. So if you take a close look, you can see the plant structure has really got some traction. That's making giant strides here in this little stand that we did. And it shouldn't be, you know, too much longer. These things will really get going, and we're looking forward to, you know, the July time frame. It'll be about the right time for us to harvest this and dry it out on the drying racks. So stay with us, because this journey is not over. It's just getting started good, and we want looking forward to enjoying some. Well, good morning, friends. Our elephant garlic's been growing for 5 months, and some of them are, you know, like this guy right here, he's doing really pretty good. So our stand of elephant garlic, it's coming along pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it. I got a couple more months of grow time left in it. So they've been growing for 5 months, and I wanted to harvest them at 6 or 7 months. So we're going to let these continue to grow, and we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll start harvesting these things out and get them cured for long-term storage. So we'll be back in a few weeks, and we'll take another look at them then. See you then. Well, good morning, Homestead family. Our elephant garlic has been growing for 7 months. Planted it last October, and here we are at the end of May in 2021, and it's done about all it's going to do. So today what I want to do is go ahead and get this garlic up out the ground and get it over into the drying tables so we can get it curing. So let's get down here and get these out. What I normally do is this stuff's pretty deep. You remember how deep we planted it. So I don't want to just go up to the garlic and try to pull it out of the ground. What I do is I take a potato rake and I just loosen up the soil underneath it, and it'll come right out very easily. So let's get started on getting our elephant garlic over to the drying table. Let's smell it. Well, there we go. We got our elephant garlic in the drying rack to let it cure and dry out for, about a week. A lot of folks, they'll just leave these laying on the ground out there where they pull them up. And, if that's how you want to do it and you've had success with that, that's great. Keep doing what you're doing. But for me, this is how I do it. And the way I recommend doing it is not leaving it on the ground, because the ground's going to get moisture on it from the dew at night, and it's going to stay wet in the mornings. And I don't want any water or any moisture on this. I'm trying to dry them out. So I get them up off of the ground. I get them in my drying table where I have airflow, ventilation below it and above it. So it's got plenty of ventilation to dry. I have the tarp on the front that I pull down to block out the sunlight, just to keep it dark and cool. So that's what I have is I have a dark, dry, ventilated space here to cure out my garlic. The same way I do my onions. And you can see, that the garlics are still green on the top. So what we're going to do is let these tops get dried out where they're, brittle, what Nancy likes to call crispy. But once they get brittle and dry, then we'll come back next week and we'll cut these off. And these have little corms on them, and not corn, C-O-R-M, ilm as in magazine, corm. And these are really just little seeds that you could plant these if you want to, and maybe in about 2 years you'll get another little clove that at that point you could plant to try to grow another garlic. But my patience is not that long. So what Nancy does is she saves all these corms and she just uses them when she cooks. So I try to save them where I can, but I accidentally knock them off, and they fall off pretty easy, so you got to kind of be careful with them. But they're very tasty right at this stage right here. So anyway, I'm going to let this garlic dry out for a week, and we'll be back and we'll trim them down and take a look at the finished product of this beautiful elephant garlic. So we'll see you back here in about a week. Well, good morning, Homestead family. Looks like our elephant garlic has dried out enough to where we can start working this stuff and putting it into long-term storage over in the pantry. So let's get this stuff out of the drying rack. You can tell that the tops are brittle, crunchy. They're dried out good enough to finish up the job and get them on over there. So let's pull them out the drying rack and let's get this show on the road. All right. Okay, this process, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but it is super easy. So come on up here close and let me show you exactly how I do this, because there ain't nothing to it. Okay, there's our beautiful elephant garlic, and if you look on the side, on the bottom, you'll see these little seeds. These are called corms, C-O-R-M-S. I pull these off and save them because Nancy chops them up and uses them as well. So these are a nice little addition to the elephant garlic that I don't normally see that on regular softneck or hardneck garlic. So this elephant garlic has plenty of these, and they eat good too. So I save them. So what I do to get this garlic cleaned up is I take me a brush. I did not put any water on this at all. Never have. I've kept it dry the entire time as it cured. And I kind of get some of that loose dirt off of there, because I'm going to go put this in my pantry. And I just don't want all that dirt in there. I get enough in there off my dirty feet. But this gets it kind of clean. Good enough to save. Now I take some old poultry shears I got, and I just go right to that root right there, and I chop it right off. See? Nothing to it. Then I go about 1 inch above there, above the top of the bulb, and I chop that off. And as you can see, it's still a little wet, but that's going to dry out just fine over there in the pantry. We've got the main part of it dried out pretty good, so it's about halfway there. So we'll keep curing this over there until it's good enough for long. It'll last for several months. So let's get the rest of these done. Let me do one more. Nancy always says do a couple just in case. Okay. Brush off the bottom. It's a nice corm. Another corm. Take the corms. Got it brushed. And go right to that root. Give it a little haircut. About an inch above the top of the bulb. There we go. Let me get the rest of these done. Here we are. I don't know if y'all remember when we built the 4-week pantry, you know, 3 years ago. We did a video on how I built this pantry, and if you'll remember, I put these corner shelves in here, and this right here, what we're doing today, is exactly why I built the shelves. This is where I store my garlic. So I put them in with the root side down like that, and I pack every shelf with as many on there as I can get, and I leave them out here for Miss Nancy to come get them whenever she wants them. And I like it when she comes and gets them because, man, they taste good in the food that she's cooking. I wish you could smell the how sweet this garlic smells. It's already got the pantry smelling like this. Garlic smells good, but that is something you want to keep in mind whenever you're storing your garlic. You want to get it in a place that's dry, well ventilated, and cool. Our pantry's has an air conditioning unit in it, so I keep the pantry at 75 degrees out here, so it's not actually freezing, but you know, it's pretty cool, you know, to keep everything happy out here. If you cut these roots off real good, you know, your garlic will stand right up for you. And this will allow it to finish curing. Now here's a whole bunch of the corms. I just put them in a bowl for her. She's got plenty of corms. Those corms, that's the equivalent of maybe another couple of 3 garlics, maybe 4. There's a lot of them in there. But that'll be for her. She'll be happy to get that. Well, I hope you enjoyed traveling along with us on this journey of growing this elephant garlic, all the way from, you know, last October all the way to today, and today's June the 1st. So that's a good long investment of time for something like this, but it is well worth it. These elephant garlics are very good. They have a very sweet smell, and Nancy's already had taken a couple out of the rack out there last week and cooked it in her spaghetti sauce, and oh my, it was a priority one, man. It was really good. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. This may be something you want to try in your fall garden this year and let it win over until next summer. And and harvest it and have plenty of garlic to last you for several weeks. So until me and Nancy see you next time, we hope that our videos brought a smile to your face and some joy to your heart. And we always want to remember where all of our good things come from. They come from the Lord. So by his hands we are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
Have a blessed day.